Just do it. I'll draw them away. Now go.
No.
I said go.
No. Last season's losers.
Remember, Jefferson, 20 seconds.
God damn it, baby. Let's get it, man. That's my boy, my brother. That's the way to hit, Sean.
I am your woman for as long as you want me. Do you want me?
It is very difficult, because she is a sex queen. She doesn't want to be known as a sex queen.
How does a man go from being called the greatest running back of all time to having police at his door 6 times for domestic violence? Before this video ends, you'll discover 2 shocking secrets Jim Brown took to his grave, why a 22-year-old model really fell from his balcony in 1968, and the real reason Raquel Welch refused to ever work with him again after their explosive on-set fight. The second secret was so scandalous, Playboy magazine still won't republish what he said about her. James Nathaniel Brown, born February 17, 1936 on St. Simon's Island, Georgia, to a teenage mother who cleaned houses and a father who boxed professionally but abandoned them when Jim was 2 weeks old.
I was born in St. Simon's Island, Georgia. Very beautiful island off the coast of Georgia below Savannah.
His mother, Teresa, left him with his great-grandmother, Nora Peterson, and disappeared to New York to work as a domestic. For 8 years, Jim Brown believed his great-grandmother was his mother. Then at age 8, his real mother sent for him. One train ride to Manhasset, New York changed everything.
I was brought up by my great-grandmother for about 8 years. Then she died. I moved to New York. So my early days were spent in Manhasset, Long Island, New York, and St. Simon's Island, Georgia.
But that reunion created wounds that would never heal. In Manhasset, Jim discovered rage, and he discovered he could channel it through sports. Football, basketball, baseball, track, lacrosse. He dominated everything.
That's when I really started realizing how much I liked athletics. I joined the Police Boys Club, which was very instrumental in my early development because there was a patrolman called Peblo who took an interest in me, and I started playing like Police Boys Club baseball and a little basketball.
At Manhasset High School, he averaged 14.9 yards per carry in football. He averaged 38 points per game in basketball. He was all-state in everything he touched.
Well, high school is when I really started to develop because Manhasset High School is probably one of the best high schools in the country. Per capita wise, it's one of the highest income areas in the country. And they get really good coaches, good teachers. They get quality people because they can pay them. And that's where I met Ed Walsh. Ed Walsh is probably the finest man that I've ever met, character-wise. And at the time, I wasn't a good student when I first got there. He had them give me an IQ test and found that I had an high IQ and encouraged me to go to classes. Took a great interest in me, developed me as a football player, as a basketball player.
Syracuse University offered him the only thing that mattered, a way out. But even there, as the only black player on the football team, the rage grew.
Method for me to get to Syracuse because Syracuse didn't offer me a scholarship. I had about 40 scholarship offers, and I was thinking about going to Ohio State, but Kenny wanted me to go to Syracuse, so he organized a group in the community without my knowing it, raised some money, and pretended that I had a scholarship there, so I went to Syracuse because of him. Later on, found out that I didn't have a scholarship. I was on trial, and finally in my sophomore year, they gave me a scholarship.
They wouldn't let him stay in the same hotels as his white teammates. He ate alone, he traveled alone, he fought alone.
And when I went to Syracuse, that was my biggest problem. My biggest interest was the fact that they had a quarterback before me that was black, and he left and went to Canada, and they didn't receive me too well because of that. I was the only black guy on the team at the time. And so I went through 4 years there trying to bring about a change. First of all, have them accept me.
And when he ran with that football, every yard was revenge. In 1957, the Cleveland Browns drafted him 6th overall. 6th. 5 teams passed on the greatest running back who would ever live because they weren't sure a black man could handle the pressure. Their mistake became NFL history. 9 seasons, 8 rushing titles, 3 MVP awards, never missed a game, not one. 12,312 rushing yards. When defenders were legally allowed to clothesline you, when they could grab your face mask, when they could hit you after the whistle.
I had the skills, and I decided that it would be the fun sport for me. No pressure, good coach, good players. We had a great team in our senior year. We won 22 straight games.
Jim Brown didn't just break records, he broke people.
Because that game was televised all over the country. So that's the part that I remember about TV. I really remember more about trying to break down barriers and be accepted.
But here's where the story gets dark. In 1966, at age 30, at the absolute peak of his powers, leading the league in rushing again, Jim Brown did something nobody understood. He quit.
And we won that. And so it ended a wonderful career because that was my one fun sport, no pressure. Great coach.
He was in London filming The Dirty Dozen with Lee Marvin.
Don't sweet talk nobody. You know why I'm here. Or maybe you think I should have let those cracker bastards go right ahead and castrate me.
Brown's owner, Art Moto, demanded he return to training camp immediately or face massive fines. Brown's response shocked everyone. He held a press conference and retired on the spot.
And sports was never first in my life. You know, I'm an activist. I believe in the economic development of minorities, and I always had that thought, and always the thought of why am I considered a first-class athlete and a second-class citizen?
But the real reason he quit, it wasn't about movies.
It is your birthday and not mine, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You know, how'd you know?
Watch how Jim Brown really was. This is 1971, his birthday, on national television with Dick Cavett. Listen to his response about using his star sign.
Do you go in for that stuff, astrology?
Well, I don't discount it. I don't kind of go with it. You know, everybody seemed to be with it, so I kind of go along with it. I say I'm an Aquarius, and sometimes it gets me favors. You know?
He's joking about using astrology to get tables at restaurants, but watch what happens when Dick Cavett asks about his first racially themed film.
It's my first racially themed film. You know, it's the first film that I've done with the racial theme. And I couldn't find a script that I believed in. I believed in this script. I felt it had something to say without preaching. And I felt that people could come out of the theater, both black and white, and feel somewhat optimistic, you know.
It's my first racially themed film. I couldn't find a script that I believed in, and I believed in the script. He's talking about racial themes, about black liberation. Then he drops this bomb.
I think this is very necessary now because I think that liberals are very confused what to do as far as the black movement is concerned. And I think that the black movement is at a standstill. So I think a film which has some hope at the end of it would be good.
This is 1971. The civil rights movement was supposed to be winning. Jim Brown is saying it's at a standstill on national television. Then Cavett brings up Raquel Welch. The 1969 film 100 Rifles was supposed to make Jim Brown a superstar.
It's a good thing you have him. Because me and that one over there, we going north.
Him and Raquel Welch, the first interracial love scene in a major Hollywood film. History in the making. Instead, it became a war zone.
You've made your relationship with Miss Welch go more pleasantly.
Maybe if her husband wasn't there.
Her husband wasn't just there, he was her manager, Patrick Curtis, and he was terrified of what Jim Brown represented, a black man kissing his wife on screen for millions to see.
She's very ambitious, and she was kind of a boss lady, you know, but my billing was over hers.
A black man's name above the white sex symbol in 1969. The studio tried to change it. Brown refused. Welch was furious.
And see, I came from football. And she had worked with Frank Sinatra and I think some big stars.
He's also a sport.
The class difference, the race difference, the power difference, it all exploded.
She is a sex queen. She doesn't want to be known as a sex queen.
That's right.
But what Brown said in that Playboy article about Raquel Welch went even further.
Did she tell everything? Good heavens.
Did you read the article in Playboy?
Yeah, I did read the article in Playboy.
She told almost everything in that.
Did my name come up a lot?
He accused her of being racist, of being afraid to kiss a black man, of trying to sabotage his career because she couldn't stand a black man having top billing. Playboy published it all. Then they pulled the issue, then they republished it with the Brown quotes removed. To this day, the full interview has never been republished. But by 1970, Jim Brown had moved on to something else entirely, something that would consume him for the next 40 years. The parties.
Hef was such a gracious person, misunderstood because of the sexuality, the belief in free sex.
Hugh Hefner didn't just give Jim Brown a key to the Playboy Mansion. He gave him something rarer, unlimited 24/7 access.
You drive up to the Rock at the gate and hit the button. The Rock says, "Good evening, Mr. Brown. Come on in." The gates swing open.
The Rock knew his voice. Think about that. Hefner programmed the security system to recognize Jim Brown's voice.
Park your car. Girls are everywhere. Might see Hef over there. Walk by. Hef, how you doing? Hi, Jim. I'm going my way. He's going his way.
Hefner going his way, Brown going his. New girls arriving constantly.
And you had 24-hour access.
24 hours, 7 days a week, Christmas morning, New Year's Eve, didn't matter.
New girls coming in from all over the country. Anything was okay between consenting partners.
Anything was okay. In 1970s Hollywood, that meant things we can't even talk about on YouTube. But the Playboy Mansion was nothing compared to Jim Brown's own house.
During those days, everything was about females. Every day it was about females, man.
Every single day.
We'd go to the candy store, and then after 2 o'clock, the cars would be coming up the hill. Pool would be smoking. Girls would jump in. You know, no locked doors in the house.
No locked doors anywhere. Cars arriving after 2 a.m. The pool smoking. That's not steam from the heat. That's weed. Mountains of it.
It was like a little Hugh Hefner's, but very little.
A mini Playboy Mansion with no rules, no boundaries, and no consequences.
Along with Barry Gordy and Smothers Brothers and everybody else. Jimmy Connors.
Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, the Smothers Brothers, CBS stars, James Caan, the Godfather himself. This wasn't just parties. This was Hollywood royalty creating their own kingdom.
Frank was a powerful individual in the business, great leader, had the Rat Pack, and a great humanitarian.
Sinatra, the humanitarian. But there was another side.
Very difficult if he didn't like you. If he didn't like you, forget it. But if he liked you, he'd do anything for you.
Frank Sinatra doing anything for you in 1970s Hollywood meant your problems disappeared. Your arrests got buried. Your victims got paid off. Your scandals never made the papers.
Jack Nicholson had a great wit. He used to always remind me that I was the guy that told him that he danced like an African American.
The story gets better.
Danced like a black guy. And he took great pride in that. And he said, my reason was that he always was behind the beat. And black people dance behind the beat. White folks jump in front of the beat.
Jack Nicholson, future 3-time Oscar winner, being taught how to dance by Jim Brown at 3 a.m. while naked women swim in the pool and cocaine covered every surface like snow. This was every single Tuesday. But there was a darker side to these parties, a much darker side that nobody talks about. June 15th, 1967, model Eva Bonshin, 22 years old, files assault charges against Brown. She claims he struck her after she refused to have sex at one of his parties. She shows up to court with bruises. The charges are dropped when she refuses to testify. Her lawyer later says she was too frightened to continue. Then came the incident that should have ended everything. May 8, 1968. 22-year-old model Kim Jones falls from Jim Brown's second-floor balcony at 3 a.m. during another party. She's found on the ground, badly injured, refusing to name her assailant. Police arrive. Brown claims she jumped. She claims she fell. Nobody asks the obvious question: how does someone fall from a balcony with a 3-foot railing? Witnesses at the party later told reporters off the record that Brown was drunk and angry, that Jones had rejected his advances, that he followed her onto the balcony, that there was shouting. Then she went over. The case was closed in 48 hours. No charges filed. Kim Jones received a settlement. The amount was never disclosed, but she bought a house in Malibu 6 months later. Cash. Meanwhile, his movie career exploded. The Split with Gene Hackman.
Split 6 ways.
I don't like who I'm working with.
Either we're all locked in or none of us are.
Ice Station Zebra with Rock Hudson.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jones. Captain Anders? Lieutenant Walker?
Dark of the Sun.
I came down out of the trees by invitation, and I will kill anybody who tries to send me back up again.
Riot.
Goodness. Yeah, that's all cool, man, but you should have left that foolish Indian locked up.
No. We need is right.
El Gondor.
Months of planning. You're gonna set me free?
Slaughter.
I'm a reporter, and I came here for a story.
Don't give me that crap!
Black Gun.
That's Chilly Willie from Jonesboro. Hi, Chilly.
Grooviest place in town, especially when you get to know the boss.
3 the Hard Way.
They do it their way.
3 the hard way. 3 cities and 3 of us.
He wasn't just the first black action hero. He was rewriting what a black man could be on screen. No longer the servant or the sidekick. He was the star, the tough guy, the one who got the girl. But which girl? And at what cost? The 1970s brought more violence. 1974. Actress Brenda Venus files assault charges. Dropped. 1978. His wife Sue beats him with a golf club after finding him with 19-year-old Margot Kidder. She's arrested. He refuses to press charges. 1985. A 33-year-old woman accuses him of rape and sexual battery. He's acquitted when she changes her testimony 3 times. 1986. His fiancée, Deborah Clark, calls police saying Brown tried to strangle her. She refuses to testify. 6 different women, 6 different incidents, 0 convictions. But wait, there's more. These are just the cases that made it to police reports. Hollywood insiders say there were at least a dozen more that were settled quietly. Checks written, NDA signed, women silenced. One former Playboy bunny who worked the mansion in the 1970s recently said, "We all knew to avoid Jim Brown when he'd been drinking. Hef knew too, but nobody did anything." How did he keep getting away with it? Because Jim Brown wasn't just an athlete or an actor. He was untouchable. When the Watts riots erupted in 1965, Jim Brown called a meeting. Muhammad Ali came, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They formed the Negro Industrial Economic Union. He mediated between the Crips and the Bloods. He visited prisons. He met with Nixon, Ford, Reagan. He was bigger than his crimes. By the 1990s, the parties had slowed down. The Playboy Mansion visits became less frequent. But the violence? That escalated. 1999 became his breaking point. His 25-year-old wife Monique calls 911 screaming, "He's going to kill me." Police arrived to find her car destroyed. Every window smashed, the body dented with a shovel. Threats of death screamed so loud, neighbors 3 houses away heard them. Brown claims she's lying. She recants the next day, but the car doesn't lie. The 911 tape doesn't lie. The shovel with his fingerprints doesn't lie. For once, the evidence was undeniable. Brown was offered a deal: anger management or jail. He refused anger management, saying, "I don't have an anger problem." The judge gave him 6 months. At 63 years old, the greatest running back in NFL history spent 4 months washing dishes in Los Angeles County Jail, mopping floors, cleaning toilets, sleeping in a cell with men who grew up watching him score touchdowns. You'd think that would humble a man. You think wrong. He came out angrier than ever, started attacking everyone. Kobe Bryant? Selfish. Tiger Woods? Not black enough. Colin Kaepernick? Wrong way to protest. The man who stood with Muhammad Ali against the draft was now telling athletes to shut up and play.
In the days when we had a summit and we called the top black athletes together, if I had to call that summit all over, there would be some athletes I wouldn't call. Kobe would be one.
In 2016, he supported Donald Trump.
The President of the United States brought me, my president. You know, he won it fair and square. He's going to be our man for the next 4 years at least.
The civil rights icon supporting the man calling Mexicans rapists. When asked why, Brown said black people need to stop complaining and start working.
And how to gain success over working hard and working intelligently.
The contradiction was staggering. Or was it? By 2020, his body was finally breaking down. Heart problems, diabetes. The legs that ran for 12,312 yards could barely carry him. He made fewer appearances, gave fewer interviews, but the stories kept leaking out. The hashtag #MeToo movement emboldened some of his victims. Not to go public, they were still too scared, but to talk to each other. Private Facebook groups formed, stories were shared. The real Jim Brown was finally being documented. One woman wrote, "He was charming until you said no. Then he became a monster." Another, "The parties weren't parties, they were hunting grounds." A third, "Hefner protected him, Sinatra protected him, the NFL protected him. We had nowhere to turn." His second wife, Monique, yes, the one whose car he destroyed, stayed with him until the end. She forgave him publicly, but friends say privately she was terrified of him until his final breath. He had 8 children from 4 different women. 3 of them have restraining orders against each other. 2 haven't spoken in 20 years. One has publicly said he was never a father. When Jim Brown died on May 18, 2023, at age 87, his net worth was estimated at $30 million. Not from football. His NFL pension was pathetic, about $1,500 a month. Not from movies. Most were B-grade films that barely broke even. The real money came from three sources: speaking fees from corporations who wanted the Jim Brown name, autograph signings where he charged $200 per signature, and most importantly, Los Angeles real estate he bought cheap in the 1970s that's now worth millions. At his funeral, LeBron James called him hero. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar called him a pioneer. The NFL commissioner called him the greatest player ever. Nobody mentioned Eva Bone Chin. Nobody mentioned Kim Jones falling from that balcony. Nobody mentioned the 6 police reports. Nobody mentioned the settlements. Nobody mentioned the NDAs. Nobody mentioned the fear. Because that's how America works. If you run fast enough, score enough touchdowns, break enough barriers, you can break women too, and nobody will care. Jim Brown ran for 12,312 yards in the NFL. He appeared in 53 films. He met with 4 presidents. He worked with Dr. King. He stood with Muhammad Ali. But he also terrorized women for 60 years and got away with it. The saddest part? He died believing he was the victim, that the women were gold diggers, that the media was racist, that everyone was jealous of the great Jim Brown. He never apologized, not once. Not to Eva, not to Kim, not to any of them. Some of his victims are still alive, still scared, still bound by NDAs that don't expire even after death. They watch his highlights on TV, they see him called a hero, they stay silent. Because even dead, Jim Brown is untouchable. His legacy is protected by the NFL, by Hollywood, by a system that values touchdowns over truth. There's a statue of Jim Brown outside the Cleveland Browns stadium. Children take pictures with it. Fathers tell their sons about his greatness. Nobody tells them about the balcony. Nobody tells them about the shovel. Nobody tells them about the screams. That's the dark truth about Jim Brown that Hollywood tried to hide. And now you know why they succeeded. Because in America, heroes are worth more than victims, even when the hero is the one creating the victims. The greatest running back in history spent his entire life running from poverty, from racism, from accountability. And in the end, he outran them all, except karma. That's still chasing his legacy. And one day, it might catch up.